Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you for all of the questions that you put in my previous video, and I'm going to be answering as many as I can. It was just overwhelming amount of questions. Some people have asked pretty much the same questions, so I will merge them together and I will say who's asked them as well. But yeah, I'm really grateful and let's just jump straight into it. Subscribe if you haven't already. John Spencer and Marco Zanaro both asked me, is it my first time coming to Italy next year for Eurovision 2022, or have I already visited it? So I've been to Italy a few times before. The last time I went was in 2017. I went to Sicily with some family. We went to Taormina, which was the most beautiful city, lovely mountain scenery, and I went to Mount Etna as well, just amazing. I also went to Rome in 2017 in the summer, so I was kind of wondering actually whether I even might have seen Måneskin busking at one point, which would have been like amazing missed opportunity. But yeah, Italy's an absolutely lovely country. Next question from Heppolo. What is the strangest, most unusual song you've heard on Eurovision from a musician standpoint in terms of instrumental, chord progression, etc.? Mine would probably Telemovish, which is the 2019 entry from Portugal. They go on to say that instrumental is really interesting, especially since Conan doesn't play any instruments and mainly mastered the art of sampling. I completely agree with you. I think that is one of the most kind of avant-garde pieces we've had in a long time at Eurovision. I was really sad that that didn't qualify because it was in my top 10 at the time, but it is just an incredible entry. I agree, and I think it's really great in the competition to see all these experimental entries with interesting chord progressions, rhythms. I mean, for instance, with Conan, he had kind of a mishmash of different cultures in the soundscape, which was so cool. I was going to say, actually, an example of an entry that I found experimented but it didn't go very well was the Shin and Mariko from 2014, the Skydiver song from Georgia. That had very experimental rhythm, sort of jazz style with guitars and drums, but it didn't work because it was a strange subject matter firstly, and the vocals were a bit weird in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for that question. It was a great question. Next question is from Petricor. I believe I hopefully pronounced your name correctly. They say, hi Rachel, congratulations for your goal. Which are your favourite movies and your favourite musicians, bands and songwriters? Great question. So my favourite movies, there's quite a few, but the last movie where I proper cried, laughed and really enjoyed myself was The Wolf of Wall Street, which has got Leonardo DiCaprio. It was so funny. I'll happily watch it 10 times and I still, laugh at everything. It's so good. I also like Monty Python movies. I think they're hilarious, especially The Holy Grail. It's so funny. And in terms of musicians, gotta love Stevie Wonder, amazing guy, incredible songwriter. And sort of on the similar note, I like Jacob Collier as well. I think he's really talented. He's had so many Grammy Award nominations. If you haven't listened to him, you should check him out. Fiona Apple as well. I absolutely love her music. She's so cool, and her most recent album got 100% score on Metacritic, which is, that's really hard to get. So she is really talented. She was writing music from a very young age, really good chords. She knows her way around the piano. Love it. Bands, Stereophonics are great. I love them. Especially their older stuff from like 2003 time, really great sound. I love the guys' singing voice as well. Muse, love Muse. I find with them, I just like the way that they use chord number 5 in the scale. They just always use chord number 5. It makes their music really mysterious, and I just love the lead singer's vocals, the harmonies they create. So good. Wolf Alice, I've mentioned them so many times as well. I absolutely love Wolf Alice. The sounds that they create are so cool. It's so British, but it's unlike a lot of other bands. If you haven't checked out any of those bands, please do so. You're missing out on a lot. Next question from Stein Dølmo. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. He has asked me, what is my all-time favourite Norwegian Eurovision entry and also my all-time favourite UK entry? So for Norway, it would have to be Fairy Tale by Alexander Rybak from 2009, deserved winner. I think what makes that song is the violin. The violin lines, not just the, you know, the famous bit where he's just playing, but the way it kind of weaves into the vocals when he sings. I'd say another one from Norway I like is Margaret Berger, Fiji My Love, 2013. I thought that should have done better than 4th place. UK, unfortunately, most of my favourite UK entries are from pre-year 2000, so I like Lulu, Boom Bang a Bang, 1969 winner, and I like Love Shine a Light as well, 1997. Everything else after that, it's hard for me to kind of say I like, but thank you for your question. Next question from Mence. Hi Rachel, you have a so lovable voice. Thank you. I would like to know if it also translates into singing. Do you like singing? Are you good at it? I like singing. Am I good at it? No, not really. I wish I was. I've sang in a few choirs before. I prefer kind of choir singing, sight singing music. I'm more of an alto, contra alto actually. My vocal range is quite low. I get down to a B2 and I can't sing above a C5 if anyone knows what that is. So I'm not really a singer, but I like singing in that case. Next question is from No Rank. Hi Rachel, I was wondering how many instruments you play and have you ever considered playing in a band? Also, if you could learn any language, what would it be? So I play about 9 instruments in total, some of them much better than the others. So in that case, piano is my main instrument. I play a bit of organ as well, guitar, electric guitar, more kind of rhythm though than lead, bass guitar as well, drums as well. I haven't played in a while, but I got quite good at one point. Oboe is also my second instrument. That was my main study at university. Cor anglais as well. If you play oboe, you tend to play that too. And the recorder was the first instrument I ever picked up. I could play descant, treble and the tenor recorder, but I can't play bass. But yeah, it's about 9 instruments in total. I have played in bands before, but they've been mostly jazz bands. So I played jazz oboe for a while. I also played jazz piano in a school band, which I really enjoyed. I also had a band with friends, but it was very kind of like just for a bit of fun. And then when we went on the stage to perform in front of the whole school, we all had stage fright and we were playing so quietly, singing so quietly, and it was a bit of a disaster. But I would love to kind of be in a rock band, but I don't think my playing on the guitar is competent enough. I'd probably be the pianist if anything. And if I was to learn any language, well, I was trying to learn Arabic for a while because my family speaks Maltese and I couldn't take Maltese lessons, so that was the second best thing because Maltese is a Semitic language derived from Arabic. So I would like to kind of go back to that a bit more because I thought it was really cool, and I can still write really well in Arabic, but I can't really speak it too well nowadays. Heppolo asks, how do you imagine the UK taking a risk Eurovision wise? Well, how do I imagine versus how does the BBC imagine? Because, okay, how do I imagine them taking a good risk? Well, just trying to find an artist that is established in the UK but is a local artist but not a global artist that is willing to do the contest, is taking a risk in the first place because of the atmosphere and the mood in the UK, which is really, really not good towards the contest. So finding someone to overcome that is a risk in itself. But also just sending somebody that's not doing a pop song, maybe a jazz song or a rock song, or I know, just a traditional Cady band, you know? Welsh music. That would be cool. That's taking a risk. What does the BBC think taking a risk is at Eurovision? Is Electro Velvet, which was one of the worst entries I've ever heard at Eurovision from the UK. Diabolical stuff. Daz Sampson as well. Terrible. And also worrying developments this morning when I switched on my news app was that apparently the comedian Bill Bailey has been actively writing a song that he wants to submit and perform at Eurovision 2022, which is probably what the BBC see as taking a risk at Eurovision. But is that really a good idea? Bill Bailey would have fared better in the 2000 contest, maybe the 2002 contest, which was much more sort of, the climate in that contest was more comedian acts, jokey acts, Rambo Amadeus even, 2012, that kind of thing. That's Bill Bailey's style. Going forward in the contest though, it's on an upwards trajectory, guys. The contest is improving, the quality's going up. Bill Bailey is not suitable for Eurovision. He is not. And that's not taking a risk, BBC. That's committing Eurovision suicide. So that's my short answer. A video will be coming out soon about the UK. I'm planning it. It's probably going to be quite a long one because I've been working on it for a while. RAJC, who is a great YouTuber, check him out. He knows his stuff. Thank you. He's submitted 15 questions here, but they're all really good. So I'm going to quickly go through these. So 1, strongest runner-up we've had at Eurovision to date, 2014, Common Linnets, Calm After the Storm. I mean, looking back, it probably should have won, actually. It was a moment on stage, beautiful song, great vocals as well, the harmonies, they just really work well together. Number 2, strongest last place entry we've had at the contest to date. Well, you could argue most of the last place entries from the beginning of the contest to about early 70s were really, really strong. Then it got to 1973 and we had that terrible, terrible song from Belgium, which was embarrassing, the weird kind of purple 70s flared tracksuit kind of outfit, which wasn't great. I'd say actually 2018 was a really strong last place. That was O Jardim, Portugal. Really great stuff. It was a mood, it was a vibe, but it just, for Eurovision, it probably just, it wasn't going to work. It was always going to struggle. And also Black Smoke 2015 I thought was a strong entry and it shouldn't have come last. 3, most underrated British entry, 1995, Love City Groove. That is a great piece of music, should have come higher in my opinion. And that was actually the UK taking a bit of a risk back then. And that's sort of what we need to kind of look at and go from going forward now. Number 4, who would you like to see represent the UK next year? I've got a massive list of people, but I would say this band called Churches, which are a synth pop band from Scotland. They're relatively famous. Their biggest hit was with this DJ called Marshmello. I think it's called Here With Me. I wouldn't recommend that as a kind of starting point for their music. I would say The Mother We Share is a great song. Bury It's great. Gun. They kind of like Depeche Mode, but brought into the 21st century with a kind of manic pixie dream girl lead singer. Just really great. If they represented the UK, firstly, we're taking advantage of freaking Scottish talent, which we haven't done for ages, and we need to do that because Scotland has a great music industry. They've so many great artists. I mean, yeah, I think they would be good. But besides Churches, I'd say Nina Nesbitt as well, Scottish. She would be good at Eurovision. She's got a good sound as well. 5, if Graham Norton stepped down as a commentator, who should replace him? I think you should actually. You're really good. I'd listen to you read the phone book, so I think you should do it. But if not, because I know you're not like a commentator, probably Rylan. I'd say he's respectful to the contest. He also a good laugh, good to listen to. But I think Graham is a good presenter. Number 6, which country needs to improve the most at the contest besides the UK? I'd say it's a tie between Spain and Latvia. Latvia seemed to have a really bad qualification streak recently, and their national final is just very weak. They need to really improve that. Spain has been coasting at the bottom of that scoreboard for far too long now, and I really would like to see them just send a reggaeton pop song, more Latin America style, and win the contest. That would be great. Number 7, which city/cities would you like to see host the show at some point? I'd say St. Petersburg in Russia would be a beautiful place to visit. Skopje as well in North Macedonia. I've always wanted to go there. Valletta, of course, being Maltese. I mean, that's a great city. They would need to build a venue for it though. And maybe Barcelona in Spain. Given my last point, I'd like to see Spain host Eurovision. Number 8, favourite national final song from the past few years. I'd say Oculus Videre. That was a great song from Iceland, but it was probably going to struggle against Daddy last year. Number 9, which genre would you like to hear more at the contest? Jazz. Jazz music. We don't get enough of it. The last time I think we probably had jazz was 2011 with Italy, and that was my favourite of the year. Also mugams, which are as an Azerbaijani Turkish style of scale, which we don't tend to get a lot at Eurovision. We had like a tiny bit in Azerbaijan's entry this year, and the last time I briefly remember it was in 2008, Samir and Elnur. So we need a bit more of that as well, kind of broadening the genres at the contest. 10, would you rather have Kazakhstan debut or Turkey come back? Kazakhstan. I think Kazakhstan has a thirst for Eurovision, and I think they'll understand the assignment. Junior Eurovision has been going well for them, and I just think it's a matter of time before we invite them, because they do have a desire to compete. Turkey, I'd like to see them come back at some point when they have respect for the contest again. They did bring something cool to the contest. I'd like to see them return, but I think at this point in time I'd rather see Kazakhstan. If the UK hosted, where would you like to see the show held? Edinburgh, I guess, just like in the Eurovision movie. I think that would be a really nice place. First Eurovision memory, unfortunately it was Das Samson Teenage Life, because my dad specifically was telling me all about Eurovision in 2006. I was quite a young person back then, and he brought me to the TV to see the UK entry before I went to bed, and I was disgusted. Even as a child I thought, this is rubbish. So unfortunately it's not the best memory, but I think another early memory I have is Junior Eurovision 2009, because I was watching it with my cousin at the time, and she really fancied the Netherlands, the guy from the Netherlands, clickety clack, tick tack, that guy. I didn't so much, but yeah, that was a funny memory. Who should represent Italy next year on home soil? Maybe Deodato. He'll have to enter San Remo first. I agree, Deodato, he missed his chance. I think he'd be amazing. He's got great voice. Another potential artist who has expressed a bit of interest, she could represent Italy or Malta, is Emma Muscat. If you haven't listened to her, she's really good. A kind of pop artist, sings in Italian mostly, but she can sing in Maltese and in English. So I think that would be good as well. How many winners have you correctly predicted over the years? So I probably started predicting them since 2013. I got that right. I got 2014 right, but I got 2015 and 16 wrong, and everything else after that I got correct. So 2015 I predicted Italy and they came third, and in 2016 I predicted Russia and they came third. So otherwise I'm quite good at predicting the winners. And lastly, which Eurovisions have been the strongest and weakest over the past 10 years? Well, I'd say the strongest was probably this year, actually, 2021 or 2016. I think everyone brought their A game this year, besides maybe a few countries. Weakest, probably 2011. I mean, those low scores for the winners. There wasn't like low scores at the bottom either. It was all distributed out quite evenly, which showed that there wasn't a clear front runner. And I think watching that contest back, there just wasn't enough good songs. I think the only one I properly liked was Italy and Slovenia. Otherwise I just thought it was a bit weak. So thank you for all your questions there. The next question is from Marino Urso. Hi Rachel, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought to write a song? I don't know, but I'm feeling like you're able to do so. So I used to write a lot of music when I was younger, not really much songs, but I used to compose tunes on the piano. I'd have like software, I'd compose for full orchestra sometimes, and I really enjoyed doing that, and I'm hoping to get back into that soon. Simone L. Hi Rachel, maybe you've said it before, but just wondering how old you are. Thank you for your great videos. That's nice of you. I'm not going to say my proper age, but I was born in the mid to late 90s. Robert says, hey, what time did you start learning the guitar? I was 12 and I self-taught the whole way through, never had lessons. David Cutajar, who's Maltese, sent me a message in Maltese, which I was going to read it, but I'm going to absolutely murder it, so I can't. He asked me, you often mention that you're classically trained. Are there any periods/composers that you especially love to listen to and play? And how, if at all, do they inspire you? I absolutely love the late Romantic period for the piano, so Chopin and Brahms. Clara Schumann is great to play as well. Really expressive melodies and the thick chords. I just love playing thick chords on the piano. I'd say for the oboe, I love playing Poulenc. Poulenc's oboe sonata is beautiful. That's like kind of early 20th century music. But also for piano, I love Messiaen, the birdsong melodies he has for the piano. It's so fun. I remember playing this really hard piece once called Ile de Feu, which means Island of Fire. Really great stuff, and I performed it to a bunch of really young children at this concert, and it was such a scary piece that one of the kids started actually wetting themselves, so it was quite funny. Other composers, George Benjamin's great to listen to. This is more 21st century, late 90s, early 2000s music. James Macmillan, The Confession of Isabel Dowdy is a great piece. You should listen to it as well. Full orchestra, really jarring stuff. Next is more of a serious question actually from SpacePopeSpeaking. Hey Rachel, do you think progress is made in fighting bullying? What measure would you like to see implemented at school? What should teachers do that want to be part of the solution? So I feel like bullying, it starts from the top down, in my opinion. When you're young and the teachers shout at you and they boss you around and bully you, the kids kind of, they mimic it and then they go and do it to other people. So it really starts with teacher training actually, and I feel like nowadays it's probably a lot better than when I was at school, for instance. It really starts with the teacher training, teaching potential teachers and TAs that talking to children with respect means that they will also talk to other people with respect and treat people as they want to be treated. And I think that is really important. Also, just clamping down on bullying, having more measures in place like counselling or buddy systems, things like that will just really help people have friends that they can reach out to if they're having trouble at school. Antonio Villa has asked me, have you ever read Harry Potter books? Yes, I absolutely love them. And also, what other books do I prefer? I love reading Percy Jackson as a kid. I thought those were so good, but the films weren't very good actually. The films were really rubbish. Francesco Sanfillipo has asked me, I wonder what comment you received in the last ESC season that you liked the most. Mostly the comments saying thanks for my, appreciating my musical knowledge and stuff that I talked about with the songs that maybe they didn't pick up on as much because they're maybe not a musician. So I really appreciate that. It always kind of makes me happy that people, listen to what I say and learn from it. So that's cool. Lexwolverine555 says, what prompted you to study music and what would you like to achieve at the end of your music studies? That is, what is your highest ambition in the field of music? And if you could be reborn, which famous musical artist would you choose to be and why? I think I'd choose to be Fanny Mendelssohn because I'd like to see how much of her music was stolen by her brother, more famous composer Mendelssohn, and I think she's underappreciated as a composer. What prompted me to study music? It was my favourite subject at school. I was my best subject. I would always get, really high marks and it just comes quite naturally to me. What did I want to achieve at the end of my studies? Just more knowledge really on pieces of music and periods that I wasn't so knowledgeable about, but also how to compose better. Another question, hi Rachel, do you think that the UK will ever be able to win Eurovision again, and if so, how? Maybe, but it is literally to do with the attitude here. It's about selecting an artist that likes Eurovision, firstly, has a lot to say about the contest, knows their stuff, but also someone I think we'd be able to win if that artist is given full creative control over the song, over the staging. The staging is key because that's what people vote on. They vote on the performance, not just the song, and that's where we went wrong this year, in my opinion. I think we could win again if we had a major revamp in all departments of the BBC for Eurovision. It's possible. Fingers are crossed. Robert Baratheon says, hi Rachel, what do you think about stereotypes and prejudices? I was very upset when Italy won. The presenter said, let's go to Italy, the land of pizza and sambuca. I thought it was very rude and not polite. I would rather prefer if he said the land of art and history. They always mistreat us. Yeah, I agree actually. I mean, that was Jan Smith who said it. I don't think he meant it in a bad way, but I get you about stereotypes of countries. I think Italy should, they have great food, but they should also be known for their art and history and also their music culture, all the operas they've written. Amazing stuff there. I mean, yeah, I'm not shy from having stereotypes about where I'm from, being, someone who's got a Maltese family. At school, I was often stereotyped when people started realising the Maltese language had Arabic elements to it. They would often accuse me of being certain stereotypes of people who speak Arabic. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you'll probably get what I mean. So yeah, I get exactly what you mean. You want people to know your nationality for more depth, more positive things than just a bit of food or stereotypes. So yeah, I get you there. Dario asks, how long have you been playing? What kind of music do I like? I've been playing for about 16 years now. Piano I've been playing for about 14 years, so quite a long time. And he's also asked me what music I like. I absolutely love rock, jazz, classical music. Have you ever thought of making videos where besides reacting to songs you can explain some applied music theory? Yeah, of course. I think I may do that in the future, but I'll have to kind of really plan hard for it. And Alessio Monari asked me, what is my favourite dish? That is a very difficult question. Probably pasta. I love pasta. I make a lot of homemade pasta. I love meze. I love Greek food as well. I love Maltese, pastizzi, but maybe not other types of Maltese food like rabbit. I don't know. Korean food is also really good. Pedro Burrites says, was Eurovision 2021 the best in the last 20 years? I believe it was, actually. I think it was a strong year. Everyone brought their A game. And to be honest, the stagings were very high quality, besides a couple. And he also goes on to ask, what are your expectations for the American Song Contest? I'm not too sure about that one. I haven't got high expectations because I don't know how it's probably going to be less kitsch as Eurovision, and I like the kitsch elements, so I'm going to watch it and give it a chance, but it might end up being a lot of country music, and I'm not really a fan of country music. Augustė, Tumaitė, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Hi Rachel, new subscriber here from Lithuania. Hi, what's your all-time favourite Eurovision entry? It changes a lot, but I'd say right now, Amar Pelos Dos, the moment I heard it, I fell in love with it. And it's just a beautiful melody line, lovely string section, great song. Franz has asked me, firstly, where does your musical knowledge education come from? What kind of education did you have? I learned music from school and also private lessons, and I went to university. I got a bachelor's degree in music, which I graduated a few years ago now. And what is your Eurovision socialisation story? Does one particular contest in your childhood stand out to you? I think 2011 is when I sat down and watched the whole thing from start to finish properly, and I kind of picked out my favourites and I have good memories of it. Yeah, thanks for your question. From Tritty1100, hi Rachel, do you have any plans for your music path in YouTube? Which UK musicians do you recommend? And am I into photography? I'm absolutely into photography. I love photography. I haven't really done so much of it recently, but I like going to galleries and looking at other people's photography as well. Music path on YouTube, I'd say I'm planning on doing a lot more reactions, but also talking about the UK and Eurovision. There's a video coming up soon. Which UK musicians? Definitely Wolf Alice, have to listen to them. Stereophonics as well. Kalleados asked me, what do you think about rock songs in the Italian language? I've been listening to quite a few recently, people have been recommending, and I've loved it so far. I love the language. I love how the language creates melody lines and rhythms as well. It's so cool. Andrey Chernov asks, please explain why the UK song received 0 on Eurovision. It was really so bad. I don't think so. Well, that's a very tough question. I've put a little diagram together actually to show you why I think they came with 0 points, because I personally believe that this year the standard was just way higher in all aspects. Songs, compositions, lyrics, stagings, vocals, everything was just upwards trajectory, whilst the UK and Germany, they were like a full, mile away from everyone else. And although we did, take a step in the right direction, everyone else took like 50 steps in the right direction. So we were just so lagging behind. Televote pulled towards so many other entries, but our staging was just not good enough. It was not good enough. We turned up as if it was an amateur performance, plastic trumpets and trombones, giant trumpets. It looked weird. And the vocals were poor. The vocals were breathy. You got someone who's not a dancer to dance. And I think people just have high expectations of UK because they hear our songs on the radio across Europe, and then we send something that's mediocre compared to everything else, which was way better than mediocre. It was inevitable that we were going to come last. 0 points though. I mean, yikes. I didn't expect that. But in the grand scheme of things, looking back, yeah, I see why. But did he deserve 0 points? No. As a person, definitely not. Next question is from Marcus R. Used a clip from National Anthem. So does that mean you're a Lana Del Rey stan? I'm a fan of her earlier work. I'm not really a stan of anything, to be honest. But I like her first album. It's quite cool. Thanks for noticing, by the way. A final funny question here is from Petricor. Says, the pharmacist where I live in Brindisi, in Italy, is very, very identical to your face. So that's quite funny. It's probably because I have Maltese lineage, so we are kind of similar in that respect to Italians. We all have doppelgangers across the world, so I'm not surprised. But anyway, thank you for all your questions, and please just subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more content coming soon. It's blown me away how many questions I got. and I'm so happy. But yeah, thanks. Bye.